On behalf of Bayan Canada and its affiliate anti-imperialist and democratic organizations, warm militant greetings of solidarity to all the toiling peoples of the world. Thank you to the Workers' Center and the Marxist-Leninist Party of Canada for hosting another celebration of International Workers' Day, saluting and honoring the workers for their sacrifices, their hard work and determination in the struggle to break free from the scourge of imperialism and fascism the world over. Today, we continue to enjoy, among others, the 8-hour workday and the ability to organize and be unionized that the working class fought for throughout these years. The Filipino working class is one with the toiling masses of the world in forging a better system to ensure that the marginalized in society live in better and more decent conditions. The Bagong Alyansang Makabayan or Bayan, or New Patriotic Alliance, was established at the height of the struggle against the U.S. Marcos dictatorship in 1985. It brought together more than 1,000 mass organizations with a total membership of more than 1 million, representing different classes and sectors of society, and committed to the people's struggle for national liberation and democracy. Bayan promotes and fights for the patriotic and democratic demands of the people through open, militant forms of struggle. Bayan's main campaign in the current period is the campaign for the ouster of the US-backed Duterte fascist regime. In Canada, it conducts educational forums and seminars, be these on the Lumad and Cordillera people struggles, or Chinese imperialist incursions into the West Philippine Sea. It supports worker strikes, as with the hotel workers demanding better pay, benefits, and working conditions. It holds marches and demonstrations, as during the annual State of the Nation address of the Philippine President, or in support of protest actions against extrajudicial killings and other human rights violations. It lobbies the Canadian Parliament against Canadian military aid, as with the helicopter deal between the Philippine and Canadian governments, and destructive Canadian mining operations in the Philippines. And it calls for the resumption of the peace process between the National Democratic Front of the Philippines and the Philippine government to address the root causes of civil strife in the Philippines. All the while, even as we seek support, we build solidarity with other oppressed nations and peoples of the world over. Here in Canada, we relate with and are grateful for the support of parties and organizations such as yours. We build people-to-people solidarity with the Palestinian, Tamil, Latin American, and Canadian peoples, and hold joint educational activities or mass actions around such issues as imperialism, mining, and climate change, and even such local issues around immigration, workers' minimum wage, and housing. President Rodrigo Duterte's term is coming to an end. In his 5-year term as the head of the state, nothing concrete from his pronouncements or promises was ever accomplished. Ending labor contractualization, ending the labor export policy, protecting the West Philippine Sea against China, and forging a foreign independent policy from the United States. In fact, he did quite the opposite. To rid the country of this brutal, corrupt, and subservient regime, Bayan engages in different forms of struggle, including the electoral struggle to achieve its just aims of national freedom, people's democracy, and a liberating peace. In this light, Bayan Canada has been active in propagating the 20-point Filipino People's Agenda. Among the points in the People's Agenda are as follows: assert full national independence of the Philippines against the political, economic, and cultural dominance of U.S. imperialism. adopt a policy of genuine land reform and national industrialization, enact a minimum wage law that assures a decent standard of living for workers against inflation, and restore the security of tenure by ending contracts of less than 6 months. Abolish the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC, and stop the militarization of civilian government agencies, as well as the appointment of retired military officers to these posts. Resume the government of the Republic of the Philippines and National Democratic Front of the Philippines peace negotiations in accordance with the Hague Joint Declaration, reaffirm all agreements that have been previously made, and strengthen the joint agreement on safety and immunity guarantees to prevent the abduction and murder of peace negotiators, consultants, resource persons, and staff. Together with Bayan Philippines, Bayan Canada supports progressive candidates in the Philippines whose platforms or elements of such platforms align with ours. We continue to show and help educate our compatriots in the host country about the root causes of their migration and how these manifest in the current crisis of Philippine economy, politics, and culture. Without any illusions, we put forward a people's alternative and campaign to support those candidates who can best help advance these alternatives and rid the country of the corrupt, fascist, and puppet ruling regime. We know that we face a strong and powerful opponent with all the guns, goons, and gold at its disposal, and U.S. imperialism as its principal backer. U.S. imperialism remains the mastermind and instigator of fascist dictatorial rule in the Philippines. Our work in Bayan Canada will certainly continue beyond the May electoral exercise. We shall remain vigilant in the days to come and prepare for whatever the outcome will be of this election. The Filipino people in the homeland and here in Canada will continue to hold the line, carry on the fight for genuine democracy, and thwart the restoration of fascist dictatorial rule in the Philippines.